Hey everyone, back in DC today. Wanted to make a quick response to Ian Bremmer's quick update on the Tucker Carlson situation, his firing from Fox News in general. As is usually the case, I broadly agree with Ian's takes here. I think it's wise to note that polemic programs like Carlson's, are really not a place to go to find objective information, especially about foreign policy, about geopolitics, international affairs. I think his assessment there, Ian's assessment that he can go on programs on Fox and go on programs on CNN or MSNBC or elsewhere and be treated relatively fairly. I think that's all good information to put out there to people. I did want to touch briefly, though, on something that I'm sure Ian's aware of this at some level, but I wanted to kind of elaborate on it a little bit. The Dominion lawsuit case has really revealed in the court filings some of the inner workings about how Fox News operates and how its anchors operate and its opinion programs work. And we can see from the documents that were released in discovery that people like Tucker Carlson, as many of us suspected or knew, these are not people who are necessarily dyed-in-the-wool, true believer Trump supporters, or frankly, true believer supporters of anything else, right? These are folks who are in the business of being personalities on TV and want to continue to do whatever's in the interest of greater ratings to promote that brand, to promote that kind of news celebrity. And so what's interesting about this is we can see that, of course, Ian's right. Tucker leaving Fox, his brand will continue. He'll get whatever platform he wants, wherever he wants to do it, and continue to be, a public figure. I won't say a public intellectual, but a public figure doing the kind of analysis that he does, unfortunately. But what I wanted to kind of drive at here, or elucidate a little bit, is that this, Tucker's emergence as a far right, white nationalist kind of figurehead on Fox, this is part of a broader pattern that we've seen with multiple Fox anchors. I can remember as a kid, as a teenager, Lou Dobbs being on other channels and being on Fox and sort of thinking, hey, and again, I wasn't the most sophisticated analyst at that point, right? I was 12 years old or 14 years old or something. But he was generally considered to be fairly middle of the road, a conservative certainly, but a sort of milquetoast one, much like Tucker was at the beginning of his career. These were sort of center-right people, pretty bland analysis. And what I wanted to kind of hammer home here is that with the departure of Tucker from Fox, it's just a matter of time before that system, as cynical as it is and as ratings-driven as it is, will produce someone else, likely taken from the stable of people they already employ there, and someone else will kind of fill that gap, right, and continue to move to a more and more radical place over time, just as Tucker did and just as Lou Dobbs did, right? This is really a right-wing sort of ideological progression that follows the money. It follows what gets eyeballs, and it follows what Fox News and other outlets see as their way of making hundreds of millions of dollars, right? So we need to kind of start to be more aware of, I think, this issue, right? That these people are not Tucker in and of himself, or Lou Dobbs in and of himself. It's not relevant, right? What we have to start to digest and find a way to resolve is, why is this such big business? Why is this kind of polemic, highly unscrupulous journalism such big business? And why is there no way to kind of constrain, apart from obviously a very slow-moving legal process, why is there no way to constrain what these people can say? Because as we've seen, they will say whatever they need to, whether they believe it or not, right? They'll say whatever they need to get those ratings. And when the legal process, that slow wheel of justice does kind of grind down very finely on these different cases, we can see actually, in retrospect, Tucker Carlson doesn't believe any of the things he's saying in these cases, right? In these circumstances around Dominion voting or whatever else, right? So we need to start to understand here, I think, that the moral failing of a Tucker Carlson or a Lou Dobbs isn't necessarily that they're wrong, although that's true. It's not necessarily that they're hyper right wing and white nationalists, although those things are wrong. Ultimately, what's wrong is there's a incentive structure put in place that builds these types of personalities, and it will continue to do so. And the core of the moral failing of these individuals is really that they'll say whatever they need to get those ratings, right? The specific empirical ethical transgressions that they make in a particular case, whether it's Dominion or whoever else, that's obviously wrong. But the underlying sort of deal with the devil here is, what do we need to say, right? What do we need to say to get these ratings? And it doesn't really matter if there's any evidence for it or not. So just something to think about, a quick update on that, and obviously in response to this big news coming out of Fox News. And as always, appreciate you watching, and really appreciate the discussion in the comments below. Thanks again.